A testing, testing, testing. A testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Can anybody hear me? I say. Can anybody hear me? I don't know why I'm doing this voice. There you go. Is it working? It's quite fun to do that though. I say. Is there anyone out there who can hear me? Ooh, I've turned into a sort of pirate. Oh no, it's Mr. Krabs! Squidward! Get down here, Squidward! Serve a Krabby Patty to the customers. Sorry, right, hang on. It's all gone. My microphone is now I've got feedback coming out because it's playing the recording of my audio out the speakers. Hang on, let's put that back there. Right, mute that. Okay. Right, in theory, gosh, it's been a while since I last streamed. Give me a second. I just need to. Where's the button? There's a button. There's usually a button to like preview there. Right, okay, the camera. Right, the camera works. That's fine. Is the audio okay? I think the sound's okay. It's all fine. Right, hang on. I need to ping the Discord. I need to ping. Hang on. It'll all be super slick. The issue with doing these streams on YouTube is normally when I upload my stream archives to YouTube after doing streams, I cut out all this rubbish at the start. But I can't, because it automatically uploads to YouTube after this. All this twaddle is going to be there on, as a permanent part of the stream. So I'd better pay a bit more attention to what I'm saying. Hang on, I just need to the stream notify ping. Right. From my thesis, submission, party. Okay, right, there you go. The Discord has been pinged. Okay, right, let's go ahead and start the show. Here we go. Hello there. Welcome to the stream, one and all. I hope you're all doing really, really well. It has been a little while. Sort of unintentionally, unintentionally, like kind of the plan was, I was going to start these streams up again and sort of casually keep doing these streams on a semi-regular basis while I finish off the thesis. We do the thesis and the streams and have a sort of 9 to 5 kind of thing. And that all went horribly wrong because it all became deeply stressful and it was all I had to go full on the thesis, like the full thesis, like to finish it. Bit of background, obviously. I mean, you kind of know the rules because of the title and everything, but like you'll know the background, which is that I have been doing a PhD in engineering, and I have now finished it. I have done the thesis. Now, important distinction, I am not yet a doctor. I do not have the PhD. You can't call me Dr. Russell yet because there is a whole other stage yet to happen. So what I've done is I've finished the work and I've submitted it. So I've written 230 odd A4 pages, all of engineering nonsense, and I've uploaded it onto the internet and it's been sent to my examiners. They have like a couple of months probably giving it a read, and then they're going to interrogate me about it. And yes, as Starrell says, I have to defend my thesis, and it is a 3-hour interrogation. My supervisor told me, it'll be 3 hours long, and I said 3 hours. I mean, is that with breaks? And he said, oh yes, there is usually a 5-minute break in the middle. Yes. So there's a 3-hour interrogation with like a 5-minute break in the middle, in theory, where they will try and probe for any weak points, any holes in the logic of the thesis, try and discover how to try and make sure I really know my stuff. And the outcomes of that are they could fail me. It's quite unlikely that they fail me. It's very rare for someone to outright fail a PhD. It's more likely the outcomes are either minor corrections or major corrections. So the case of minor corrections is they'll say, oh, I need you to change this thing, maybe tweak that a bit, put in some more information there. You have 2 weeks, go away, come back, submit as an updated version, and then you can be a doctor. And the other eventuality is major corrections, which we're really hoping won't happen. And major corrections will be, they'll say to me, oh, go and write us another chapter. And then I'll have to go away and work unpaid for a couple of months or something to write whatever extra stuff they want me to do and submit that, and then be re-examined on that, and then hopefully become a doctor. So those are the different phases we might have to get through before it actually finishes. But the upshot of it is, and the reason I'm celebrating today, and the reason I have cordially invited you all to come and join me for this celebration, is the work bit is done. Certainly for the next couple of months, the PhD I can do no more. I have sent it off. There are no more changes I'm allowed to make. It is done. It's finished. So woo. That's 4 years of my life. I started this pre-pandemic. I mean, some of you, I've been streaming for that long, more or less, so some of you have been with me almost right from the start. In fact, did I start before when did I start streaming? No, I didn't. I'd started doing Lucien. Lucien came out before I was doing my PhD. So I think I was probably in my first year of my PhD when I started streaming. Yeah, because I remember I was in the old flat. Yeah, pre-pandemic was before because the pandemic hit at the end of my first year of my PhD. Ooh, thank you so much, Miss Catonic. That's lovely of you. Thank you so much for the memberships. I really appreciate that, Ms. Catonic. I hope the people who got those channel memberships enjoy them. They're nice. You have a new emote, by the way. Those of you who are channel members, have a look at your emotes. Because there's one new one that KGO Kev provided. The people who are in the Discord have already seen that, but KGO Kev sent me a little emote he made from one of my thumbnails. So do enjoy that, channel members. Have a look, see if you can find the new one. But yeah. So what was I saying? I lost train of thought. Oh yeah, pre-pandemic. Yeah. So it was the world as how Miss Xonix found it. There you go. You found the Joseph Wahoo. Oh, love it. Yeah, so much has happened since then. So much of life has kind of changed since then. It's been this whole long thing. We had just the whole all the stuff that's happened. But anyway, made it to the end, in theory. Fingers crossed they don't need me to go away and do loads more work on it. And then I'll be moving on to the future. The other bit of news I have is so I have a temporary funded research placement kind of thing to start in September, which is that I'm continuing on with my current lab under my current supervisor. He's managed to find a way, probably, hopefully. I mean, there's application processes and things that need to come through, which might well not work out as well. But I mean, the hope is that we'll be able to continue on in the current lab with some of the funding, attaching me to a slightly different project, but hoping to be able to continue my research a little bit, which will be very nice if it comes together. And if that does come together, that will be in September. It's like looking positive, but like not necessarily 100%. But anyway, so that will keep me going for a bit, because my last paycheck was in March. So it's amazing, like, thanks to you guys and your channel memberships and the Patreon support and everything, I've been able to continue paying the bills and everything, because we had I was meant to finish the PhD in March, and then we had my dad passed away, and it all got super delayed and extended, and it's been a big old chunk without it. So thanks to your Patreon support and the channel memberships and the donations and all of that, I've been able to. It's been a bit tighter, but we've been able to get by. But it will be really nice to have a proper regular actual paycheck again in September. So fingers crossed that all comes through. Will be really good. It's really warm, by the way. I don't know how many of you are in the UK, but it's so much warmer this evening than it has been in the previous few weeks. I've got the window open, but much warmth. Anyway, so PhD is finished. I have best part of a month off. It's not that I know the original plan when I was planning on finishing in March was we'd have a long period of maybe a few months or something where I would be able to go full time on this streaming stuff and Lucien and the creative stuff. trying to make lots of cool things and everything. And obviously, because of the circumstances, that couldn't end up happening. I do have the best part of a month now where I can do some stuff. I'm going away with my family for a week and a half or so towards the end of August, so that will be really nice. But yeah, so I should also have a few weeks to try and get back on top of all this kind of thing, but also to breathe a little bit, because I do need some time to breathe. It's been quite intense and full on for a long time. But yeah, so I have some time to breathe, some time to recover, start the new thing. The new thing will be much more of a normal 9 till 5, which should make it much more predictable when I'll be free, which should make it much easier for me to schedule in these streams and do the modding and the other stuff. So there should be fun things to look forward to. But anyway, that's where I am. That's a little story. I've just sort of monologued. It's kind of just like a general life update, because I haven't spoken to you guys for a while, really. We haven't done one of these streams for a while. So yeah. Black Cat. Hi, Black Cat. Hope you're well. It's winter there and 3 degrees Celsius. I'm actually so jealous. I always like for it to be colder. I mean, it's lovely during the day when the sun's up and it's and you know, you're outside and you're going for a walk or something. I think it's lovely if it's like 20 to 25 degrees, maybe. That kind of thing is really nice for going and enjoying the sunshine, walk around between 20 and 25 degrees. That's fab. When it gets to evening, if it could cool off, that would be fab. I like to wear a jumper. I'm a jumper person. You know this if you've seen my streams and things. I like a nice jumper. They're nice and they're cozy. I like to be all nice and cozy and soft in the evening. And particularly when I'm sleeping, I like it to be cold when I'm sleeping, and then I can snuggle under blankets. That's nice. I don't like being too hot. That stresses me out. So if we could just have it so that it's nice and warm during the day, and then like nice and cool at night, that would be ideal. Anyway, at the moment, I'm very jealous of the 3 degrees Celsius Black Cat. Although, I'm not jealous of the heating bill that would also involve to warm me back up to a temperature. So yeah, it's somewhere in between, maybe. Somewhere in between the 3 degrees and the current too warm would be ideal. Bard, is your family mind blown by the fact that your weird internet thing has been able to pay your bills, Joseph? I mean, don't get me wrong, Bard. It hasn't been able to pay my bills. But I've had some savings that I've saved up, which has been progressively going down over the last few months. All the internet stuff has reduced the rate of it all going down significantly, which is really nice. So it's so it hasn't fully, but yes, exactly. So it's really nice that thanks to the support and everything, I've been able to continue, you know, paying the bills and everything, which is perfect. But is my family mind blown by? To be honest, they're kind of used to my weirdness by now. It's all been, you know, my life is weird, and it's this is my weird life, and my family know my weird life, and this is what I do, and it's fun, and it's yeah, you know, my brother is successful and has a normal, you know, he does a real person job, you know, and that's a whole thing, and that's great. I don't know if I'll ever do a real person job. I'll always keep doing this as like a hobby kind of side hustle thing, and I'd like to do my research. I'd like to be scientist and all of that would be really cool. I don't know how I'd get on with a real person job. I used to have a real person. I had a Saturday job when I was a teenager. I used to work at a garden centre on Saturdays in retail, and I rapidly discovered retail was not for me. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member, Lagorio. Hope you're doing well these days. How's life going? Are you still modding? Have you made any progress with that? I know it's been a while. Thank you so much, Kristen, and and Lagorio again. You upgraded your membership. Thank you so much for both of those. I really appreciate that. Oh, Yami, you're saying you sent. Oh, thank you. That's really lovely of you, Yami, to send something. I really appreciate that. That's really kind. But yeah, no, I found it exhausting. It wasn't hard, you know. It wasn't. It was just, you know, stocking shelves and doing the tills and all the normal retail thing that people do very successful. You know, that's fine. You know, a lot. I think it's just a sign of my personal weakness that I wasn't that I found it so exhausting. I don't know. Or maybe everyone just finds it that exhausting. I was just like, just on your feet all day doing things all the time. You know, this is me as a computery kind of person complaining about normal working days. You know, it's a normal working day. That's what life is like. You exchange your time for money. That's how it works. But yeah, I didn't like that very much. Yeah. What I did enjoy was I worked at the garden centre, and they had like 12 different kinds of compost, and all the bags of compost were different colours. And the best day I had working at the garden centre was all these bags of compost used to arrive, and they'd have them round the back. They'd have like the area round back where customers weren't allowed to go, which was like an outdoor kind of outside storage bit where they would have all these boxes that would get delivered, and they'd have big crates all kind of stacked on top of each other in no particular order, and inside the crates were different bags of compost. And what would happen was when they would run out of compost of a particular kind, they'd say, oh, can you go and get some more? And you go around back, and you just have to do a lucky dip of going into each one of these like 20 different crates, like saying, is this the one we want? No, that's purple. Is this one? No, that's blue. This one's green? No. And it was a huge faff. It was really difficult, and it was just a terrible system. And in particular, it would rain, and when it rained, all the cardboard, because the crates were all cardboard, would dissolve and melt. So then the next day when you went round to then get the compost, you'd not only have to go through this, lucky dip kind of thing, but you'd have to wade through a layer of melted, dissolved cardboard mulch in order to actually access it. And anyway, the best day I had was where they said, I don't even know if I was even told to do this or whether I just took it upon myself, but I basically spent the whole day opening up all the crates and getting all the bags of compost and putting them into columns, like in a system, which was alphabetical, and it had multiple piles, and the idea was each pile was 5 bags of compost high, and you'd line them up in columns, and then you'd work backwards through the piles as you run out, so you could really clearly see of all the different kinds, all in lines, and how much you could always easily see just by looking at it how much you had left of each bag or type of compost, so then you could order in new stock. And I was just like, this is heaven. I mean, I was as a nerd. This is what life, I knew this was what worked for me, but I would just stand back and look at it and like, look, it's all tidy, it's all clean, and there's no mulch anymore, and now the system is just so much better, and it saved me time going forward. And I like to imagine that the garden centre has retained the Russell compost sorting system in the 10 years it's been since I last worked there. I don't think that is the case. I'm sure it's back to the cardboard boxes all in mulch and everything, but it was a very happy day anyway when I organised it all. It worked very well for me. It made me very happy, very joyful. So there's a little story about my time in retail. I wasn't great behind the till. I found the social interactions behind the till very awkward. It was very you're never quite sure whether you can assume a level of familiarity enough with the customer or not to ask how they are. That's where other people were all fine with it. Like, hello, how are you? Yeah, whatever. And I'm like, hello, we've not met before. So can I say, how are you? I don't know, but we're only going to have an interaction of about 30 seconds to a minute long. So I don't know how much I should engage. Maybe I'll just be quiet. Oh, but if I'm being quiet, do they think I'm being too quiet? Do they think I'm being too silent? Should I talk more? I'm talking more. Am I being annoying though? Would they rather this transaction were just quiet? I don't know how to do it. And I just have a meltdown every time. It wasn't great. Couldn't do it. But yeah, anyway, there you go. Yes, Cyril, let's go with that. Let's say it's exactly the same. Sure, I don't ever need to go to that. Let's just assume that the Russell system is still there. Yeah, sure. Yeah, not good at small talk. I'm getting better at going to the hairdresser now. I still struggle deeply, but I'm getting better at handling that social interaction, because it's a very odd social interaction when you go to the hairdresser. It's like you face away from them to start, and then you talk to them in the mirror. You don't turn around and talk, because in life you turn and talk to them, but it's the one situation in life where you look and the mirror's in front of you and you talk to the reflection. But you're like, you don't know what to say, And they don't ever remember your name because obviously they don't. Because why would they? They have hundreds of customers coming in and out all the time. So you don't often know their name. If you don't, with a hairdresser, you have to ask their name the first time you go into the hairdresser, or possibly the second time, because after that it's awkward. If they've cut your hair more than twice, you can't then ask their name. So you have that opportunity. If you miss that opportunity, the rest of your life, if you ever get your hair cut by them again, you just have to say, "Oh, hello, how are you?" And they are just you. That's just their name. And likewise, they're you. And it's like, how does it's just, because you can't ever retain anything from the previous conversation, and you're like, and again, my brain goes, I don't know why I care what the hairdresser thinks of me, because again, you have the interaction and you leave, but you do, you're like, should I be more quiet? Should I be more talkative? What should I talk to them about? And how can I make the conversation not be, so how long have you been a hairdresser? Because that's the only way my brain goes. It's the same thing of when you get in a taxi, and when you get in a taxi and you're like, what do we do here with this social interaction? And inevitably, you go with the being busy, and then you hate yourself, and then that's the extent of I don't know how to do, whatever. Life. Anyway, back to the thesis. Thank you all for the congratulations, everyone. I really do appreciate that. It's just nice to be able to celebrate with you. I don't know whether we should we have some music? Thing is, I can't do, the only copyright-free music I've got, is the theme tune to the Treacle People, because we own that copyright. Or I guess anything I perform. There's, I don't know. There's also what you want the theme. Oh, they probably do. I've never really looked into the royalty-free music kind of thing. Hang on. Oh, I can't even find it now. I could go get my guitar, but I haven't played for ages. So I'm a bit rusty. I'm not very good at it. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, Yami. Thank you for watching it. I put a video out, which you've probably seen on my channel. If you check my videos, I don't know, I shouldn't make that assumption. But like, it was also on the channel trailer. I put it up as the trailer before this stream kind of thing. Just sort of talking about the Treacle People. I plug it all the time. I know I go on about it. But it's a show that my dad made, that we had this idea of relaunching it on YouTube. And, since he passed away, I've been continuing to try and push forward with the show and try and promote it as much as I possibly can. There's lots of exciting things that we might be able to do with it in the future, but I really need to grow it as much as I can. So the link is linked in the description below this video. It would be absolutely amazing if you could please subscribe to the channel and give it a, but more importantly, not just subscribe, but actually give it a watch. Would be absolutely wonderful. Just try a couple of episodes, and it's really funny. I genuinely love it. And it's the same sense of humour that Lucien has and everything. No, the Treacle People were never in America. It was never shown in the US. Only ever shown in the UK. And it was dubbed in France. Oh, and it was shown in Australia. I think. Briefly. You can get DVDs from Australia. It's the only way season 2 was ever released on DVD. Physically. Was in Australia. Never in the UK. But yeah. If you want to watch it anyway, it would be absolutely amazing. I'd love that. So click on the link in the description, give it a try, please. Thank you so much. Thanks so much for dropping by, Ligorio. It was lovely to see you, however briefly. You're going to play Baldur's Gate 3. I'm very jealous. That would be amazing. I don't have it. I'm quite jealous because I've been looking at Baldur's Gate 3 because it looks really cool. It's quite expensive. And I'm like, it's one of those things I will probably inevitably cave and buy it. I probably will. But it's like working myself up to justifying it when we haven't quite got to that September paycheck yet. It's like, I will probably, I just need to psych myself up to being like, we'll take the plunge, we'll do it. which I will. And I could stream it, couldn't I? Because okay, yes, so I could stream it and it'll be really cool. Cthulhu, you say lots of adult stuff. Now, my understanding from those of you who have Baldur's Gate 3, it'd be great if you could confirm this. My understanding is that it has settings, has like a streamer mode kind of setting, where you can set it to not have the adult stuff. Is that correct? You can configure that to make it like okay. Is that right? Like all the like nudity and everything you can toggle off? Because that would be really helpful if we're going to stream it. Yes, it does have a streamer mode. Amazing. I'm not so worried about the language, so long as we have like a disclaimer kind of letting people know that it's gonna have it and everything. But the main thing is the visuals. Yeah, the rude visuals would be great. That would be a deal breaker kind of thing if there were no way of turning that off. But if the way of turning that off, that would be cool. Azora, dare I go on? I mean, I'm glad you know the lyrics. It's cool. Do you know all the lyrics to Brendan's song? Because I've been in touch with the composer for Treacle. Because we have the songs. There are Treacle People songs, and we actually now have remastered versions of the songs because the composer, Simon Webb, was able to provide actually remastered versions because he's kept all the original tracks, which is just awesome. He's got all the original master files, so we're going to be using those. But yeah, here we go. Let's have the Treacle People theme.
Treacle,
Can you hear that?
treacle, treacle. We are the Treacle People. We sing treacle high and low. We are the Treacle People. We all live in Giggle Row.
Where a whistle said the day is treacle, trackle, and the way to seems a treacle from below.
Down to the mighty gold.
We are the Treacle People. We sing treacle high and low.
I think I better stop it before it goes into the next song. There we go, because I haven't released that one yet. We also have Brendan's song. I can play that one to you as well. You can get all this stuck in your head again.
Oh, my name is Brendan Robinson. I bottle ginger beer. And for those of you who wonder quite how did I end up here, well, it happened many years ago at a wedding in Loughbray, where I fell asleep on a log, my friends, and drifted out to sea. Where I fell asleep on a log, my friends, and drifted out to sea. Oh, hey, hey,
Love it.
hey, hey.
The guy who performs this, Jim Norton, I don't know if any of you have seen Father Ted, but there's a character in it called Bishop Brennan. I've not watched it myself, but there is a character in it called Bishop Brennan played by Jim Norton, so he's the guy who sings this
I
song.
waited ashore on me morning suit
Yeah,
and almost
I don't know
danced
if
for
you
joy.
want to play that.
Yes, I waited ashore on me morning suit and almost danced for joy. Hey, 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 diddly-idly. Hey, hey, hey.
He is
hey,
Starro,
diddly-idly.
yes.
Once back on terra firma, I was met by quite a crowd. Tapper, Eugen, Whistle, oh, they really did me proud. They said, if you're in need of work, we've just the job for you. Come back with us to the treacle mines, we'll see
Also
what
Silas,
we can
he voices
do.
Silas
Yeah,
as
come
well.
back with us to the treacle mines,
And funnily
we'll
enough,
see what we
his
can do.
Bishop Brennan voice, because I looked up some clips, is like halfway between Brendan and Silas. If you imagine using Brendan and Silas in your head, that's Bishop Brennan's voice. So you can hear it once you make the connection when you play this. Hey, 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 hey.
My name is Brendan Robinson.
It's a great song. I'll be humming this for a month.
those of you who wonder quite how did I end up here?
Sorry, I'm very aware this stream has no
At a
actual
wedding in the
content.
fray, where I fell
Apologies
asleep
if
on a
that's
log, my
disappointing.
friends, and drifted
It's
out
kind
to
of just a
sea.
hangout
Where I fell
chatting.
asleep on a
I
log,
should have
my
said that at the
friends,
start.
and
This is what it's going to be.
drifted out to sea.
I wasn't really planning on playing, doing kind of gaming kind of thing today necessarily. But I was just a general kind of hangout thing. I hope that's alright. Yes, it is. Woo! There we go. We're at the end. Pablo asked. Sorry, I didn't go around to replying. I'll catch up. Pablo asked, "Are these songs on Spotify?" Oh, is the music slightly loud? Okay, I'll turn that down next time we have something. Sorry. I eyeballed the volume balancer to see if it looked right. But yeah. What does that mean? I don't know. Anyway, what was I saying? I got distracted. I was halfway through saying something. It's gone. Thought gone. No thoughts. Doesn't matter. Oh, I was replying. Someone said, are they on Spotify? No, they're not on Spotify yet, but we'd like to get them on Spotify. It's a bit of a, so I don't know if you know how music licensing works, but usually the songs have a publisher. When you have music for a show, you'll have a music publisher that's associated with that music. So in the case of the Treacle People, it was Standard was the name of the music distributor, the publisher. But Standard, so they then take like a cut of revenue, which is usually paid through PRS. I've learned about this stuff recently. I'm not really 100% over the top of it yet. But Standard haven't done anything at all with the music in the last 26 years, since the Treacle People came out. They have, as far as I'm aware, literally done nothing, which is, not that that's their prerogative, whatever. I wasn't in any way, I was 0, I was 1 at the time when all of that was going on, so whatever. I don't quite fully understand it myself, but fine. But it's what would be great to do really would be to fully get the rights back from Standard to publish the music ourselves, because I don't see how they provide any function at the moment. So we need to sort of navigate that kind of legal rights kind of thing. And once that's navigated, we should be able to put the songs on Spotify, because they're fun songs and it'll be nice. We'll try and make that happen at some point. Someone also asked, would there ever be a sequel to the Treacle People if it got big enough? It's a very, very big undertaking to make a sequel, like to make a new season or anything for the show. Animation like that, stop motion animation, is extraordinarily expensive. It would be also a couple of other issues, like a couple of the cast members have since passed away. It would be very difficult to make that happen, so the show would have to become incredibly big on YouTube to justify the cost of making a new series of that. What is more achievable is continuing the story in some other form, whether it's in the form of a book or audio drama or computer animation, as Bard's just suggesting. But I think the stop motion animation style of the show, The Treacle People, is such an inherent important part of the show's identity. I think there would be very real danger of that being lost. If we were to try and go a computer animation route, I think it would lose something special. So I would be very careful about doing that. But there's potential, again, dependent on the show becoming big enough or whatever, but to maybe continue the story in other ways going forward. But I think the chance of actually making a new series is quite remote, unless, as I said, but the best way to make any of these things happen, if you want to see them, is to watch the show and subscribe to the channel and tell all your friends. Would be wonderful. Please do that. If you give me a hand growing it, then we'll see what we can make happen in the future. We do at least have the rights to do that. So yeah, see what happens. Somebody asked, Studio Filmo Somnia says, have you ever considered acting, Joseph? I must say you're very charismatic. Why, thank you. Charisma is my middle name, along with danger and don't know where I was going with that. Lost my train of thought. But yes, I guess scatterbrain. But I must say, I think you would be a great actor. I also think live action Lucien in a movie would be interesting. Wouldn't that be fun? But that's not something we could really do for so many reasons. Like cost, the actually making a film, the know-how, having people involved in doing that, distributing it, licensing it, and also the whole thing, obviously, of using the character Lucien is fine, but we have to use him completely outside of the context of Skyrim as well, because we don't have any rights to anything Skyrim related. So it would be like, there's a lot of hurdles to overcome to ever do something like that. But I would love to act. I've always done like stage acting and everything as a hobby. It's fun. I obviously do the voice acting with Lucien and all of that. I love that. If anyone wanted me to be in a show or a movie sometime, that would be a dream come true. But I'm having a hard enough time being a struggling scientist slash writer, creative kind of thing. I don't know that I also need the stress of being a struggling actor. It's like, if I'm gonna have a proper job, as it were, and one that with a reliable bill and a side hustle, the thing that's reliable had better be really reliable. If that were acting, then that's taking away the reliability completely, and it's like, blah! That could be a very dangerous route. So let's chalk that one up as it would be lovely if I were ever able to do that as a side thing, but it's not something I would want to necessarily try and pursue a full-time career in. If I'm struggling, you see, that has been my business model for the last 6 months, Trabant, is to struggle with enough things at once to make enough money for one non-struggling career. Yeah. Struggle all the things. Oh. Reese, I would love that if you would like to commission me for voice acting. That is something people do. Someone reached out to me the other day, actually, to commission me to voice some Lucien lines for a project they were making. I'm always delighted to do that. I can't do it for a mod, because you can't. Bethesda terms and conditions say it's very, very, it's very kind of not really okay to have anyone sort of be paid for the process of making a mod itself. So I wouldn't do commissions for voice acting Lucien for a mod, but for side projects, for things to put on YouTube, for audio, whatever. Yeah, sure, be delighted to. Hit me up. I've got lost on the chat. Wasn't there a question further up? Oh, sorry, there's a question there from Vuvuzela. You're the person who made the Lucien subreddit. Look, I can't endorse it or get involved in it in any way, because we have a Discord server. We have the Discord server, we have the streams, we have the online, the Nexus with all the comments and everything. There's enough different social media things where we've already built big communities, kind of. I can't get involved with a subreddit as well. There's also a Facebook group, and there's the Twitter feed, and I can't take on another being at all involved. And to be honest, I can't. As great as it is that you're a fan and that you're trying to share it online and everything, I wouldn't necessarily push my community towards yet another new environment that I'm not part of necessarily. Do you see what I mean? It's like, it's enough managing what we've got, and I think it does the job and everything. So you're very welcome to do whatever you want, but I think we're quite happy with what we've got. Yeah, Mayhem Mistress, sure. It is the paid voice acting thing. It's a grey area. Right. Okay, Bethesda terms and conditions are very clear that you cannot charge for a mod. Right? You can't say, you must pay me this money in order to play the mod. It also says you can't commission someone to make you a mod. You can't say, hello, friend, I would like to pay you 50 quid. Can you make me this mod? They make the mod, send it to you, and then you release it. It's also not allowed. Now, paying for voice acting isn't specifically addressed, to my knowledge, in the terms and conditions. It doesn't say you can't do that, but I'd say it's definitely stepping close to the line, in that when they're saying you can't pay to make a mod, you can't pay to commission a mod, arguably you're paying to commission voice acting for the mod, so they're providing that part of the mod. It's the sort of thing where I think if enough people did it, and enough money was being made from it, Bethesda would probably step in and say, right, okay, what's going on here? Let's, constrain this. At the moment, it doesn't happen very often. It's not really in their interest to step in. They're also very keen to support the modding community. So I don't think there's any kind of problem with it. So it's happening. And that's fine. But I think if it became enough of a thing, enough people were doing it, they would have to step in at some point and say, hello, what's going on here? Now, Bethesda have tried before with the paid mods system when that came in back in, what was that, 2018, 2017? A few years ago anyway, where they put it on the Steam Workshop. You might remember, those of you who've been around in the community long enough, you remember when they did, when they said, paid mods, let's do it. And there was this massive community pushback over the next few days. It was before SSE, so maybe 17 or 16. But yeah, there was this huge pushback from the community saying, no, we don't want paid mods. 2015 maybe, I don't know. But yeah, and there was this huge thing, it's going to destroy the modding community, it underlines the spirit of mod making, and they pushed back against it and hit it all with a hammer, and that feature was taken away. And then they introduced the Creation Club as a new way of doing, of instead of having paid mods, it was saying, okay, we're going to work with mod authors and commission the mod authors to make official or semi-official DLC, right? So it was a similar idea. But the idea was, rather than saying you can independently make your own mod and sell it, they would work with specific mod authors to have stuff specifically created for the Creation Club. And that worked a lot better because it was actually, when you think about it, they were doing what people have been asking them to do for years, right? Because whenever there's a big mod like Inigo, or even people have said this to Lucien, or Beyond Skyrim or whatever, people write in the comments, one of the most popular comments is they say, Bethesda should hire you. And this was Bethesda doing that. Right? It's exactly what people were asking for, was Bethesda was saying, great, yeah, let's hire the mod authors. So they hired the mod authors and they made them into